Welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new, subscribe to our channel, drop this video a like, and get involved in the comment section down below on your thoughts ahead of Aston Villa v Crystal Palace. Before we get into that, I'm just going to do a bit of self-plugging. We did a fantastic episode with Neil Cutler. If any of you haven't watched it, it is class, man. I mean, the insight that he gives day to day, a working week as a goalkeeping coach is fantastic. The stories he tells about Martinez and everything to do with Villa, promotion, being in the Premier League, that is the episode for you. So if you've not watched it, we had Neil Cutler on talking about Emi Martinez lifting the World Cup, about his personality, his traits, his targets he used to set himself. So it's definitely something for you to have a look at and have a watch and get a bit of joy out of it. I have also got someone else to plug. If any of you haven't followed me on Twitter, I am now doing a second YouTube channel where I'm going to be talking about football in general. I'm going to be talking about different sports such as F1. So F1, football on a broader scale, you know, the top six, the relegation battles, everything like that. We'll be talking about that on this channel as well. We're doing F1 watch-alongs. We'll be doing boxing watch-alongs. We'll be doing everything on this channel. So
cricket watch-alongs,
cricket, snooker, tiddlywigs, you name it.
Tiddlywigs.
Channel. So if you do want to go and out, just support me on this channel as well. Go and hit subscribe. I'll really appreciate it. So, yeah, cheers if you can help support me on that little thing that I'm doing as well. So, Villa back in action, Villa Park, Crystal Palace off the back of a nice win against Everton away. We've got a curious case of home form to improve on. So, Ryan, home form, what do we have to do? What are you looking for? What's the answer? What is Unai Emery searching for?
It is a strange one, isn't it? It's normally the other way around, isn't it? It's always the home form's been banging in the Premier League for us, and the away form's been the one that we've always needed the improvement. But at the minute, it feels more like a mentality issue more than an ability issue, I think. I think away, I've seen us soak up pressure. I've seen us nullify away crowds. I've seen us take chances and score goals. You know, the games we've won away under Emery, Brighton, Spurs, Southampton, Everton, we've conceded one goal. And that was like a poor mistake from Louise. We got possession pinched by one of the best pressing teams in the league in the opening minutes when we weren't quite switched on. But apart from that, obviously we lost to Man City and conceded the 3 goals. But the wins, we've been very solid, which tells me, look, away from home, we've got an elite concentration. We've got concentration on the game plan. We've got bravery. You know, there's a couple of times in the Everton game where we sort of lost our way, but we recovered, and at home we haven't really seen that. I think, like, once we do lose our way at home, it feels like it's gone. It's gone, isn't it? And we're playing on instinct rather than the game plan. You look at the home games. United was like the new manager bounce. That was explosive, wasn't it? But you look at the Liverpool game. It was, we lacked control there. The Wolves game, there was no control there. Leeds, we were open. Leicester, we was open. Arsenal, we was open. We'd lost our way. So, yeah, I do feel like it's a mentality for the players. We know what Villa Park's like. It's up and down. Some games it's absolutely buzzing. Some days you get the groans and the moans when we are trying to build. So maybe as a fan base, maybe we've got to be a bit more patient when we are playing out from the back, when we're controlling the game and trying to build. Us being calm and trusting the process, but we only get to go down there 19 games of the season, and a lot of the time we're pumped up and we're up for it, and we create that atmosphere. So it's up to the players to manage that atmosphere, I think. And it's a game of opinions, and everyone's got their own opinions of how it should be played at Villa Park. Some people are quite patient and will trust the process. Other people want to see get in there, attacking and stuff like that. So it is down to the players' mentality to manage this at home now. And Emery's desperate. He's desperate for a performance, isn't he? So hopefully it's coming Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, I look at this Premier League table and we've had a tragic start. And I was speaking to Josh from the View from the Stands the other day. And basically, we were saying, what do we want like next season? Like, what is the expectation? And for me, I just want a solid, consistent, good season. And I looked back at the season before last, when Dino got the sack. And, we started that one terrible. Gerrard came in. This season, we started terrible. Unai came in. So the start to these seasons that we've had in the last two seasons are forming where we sort of are as a club at the minute. And if you look at this, I mean, again, we've had a new manager come in. We've had losing runs. We've been poor. But we currently sit 11th place on 31 points. We're only 4 points behind Brighton in 8th. 6 behind Chelsea or whatever, or Liverpool. Sorry, 5 behind Liverpool, and it's like if only we had a bit of consistency, we'd be there. I mean, you look at the home form. We are 13th on 17 points, so that needs to improve. The home form does need to improve. We want to be a bit higher, but like you say about the away form this season, that's not bad, really. I mean, it could be better, but it ain't that bad, is it, Justin?
No, I think that's decent, to be fair. I mean, if you're in and around top 7 away form, you would think by default your home form would be good, because if you're a good away team in the Premier League, you think your home form would be good. But yeah, it's an anomaly, isn't it, this home form this season? I do wonder under Emery whether we are a little bit hamstrung by the way teams set up against us. And I think his way of playing suits playing away. I think that's basically that's maybe oversimplifying it, but he likes to play out from the back, and away from home teams pressure more, don't they? Because it's up to them to sort of be on the front foot, whereas at home teams tend to sit off you, don't they? They sit a bit deeper, and we found that a little bit difficult to open teams up. So I do wonder whether he will look at that. We know he looks at everything multiple times. So we're interested to see how he affects the game at home, knowing that he's got this little bit of a problem with not being as good at home as we are away. We've got a couple of home games coming up in the next 3, which I think are winnable games, Palace and Bournemouth. And he'll want to pick 6 points up from them. I would imagine, away form's decent. We've got some really good away wins, since he's been there. So if we can address the home form, and we've got a decent run in at home, I think fixture wise, then it should really lead to a really good end to the season. And it's something he'll want to sort out, because going into next season, your home form is your bedrock really of where you're going to be for a whole season. So you really want to be the old fortress at home, isn't it? So hopefully we can start picking up a few home wins.
Yeah, O'Neill had the same problem though, didn't he? O'Neill was set up for counter-attacking football. Ashley Young, Gabby Agbonlahall, and we were awesome away. I think we win like 7 on the trot the one season, but then we couldn't replicate it at home because the onus was on us to go and break teams down, and that wasn't our style. So I do feel that you've got to get that balance between your away side and your home side now, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. So it's there, he's made a massive thing about this home form, hasn't he? He spoke about it straight after the Everton game, saying, I'm going home, I'm going to sort this home form out. So,
he's annoyed, isn't he?
Yeah, so you know,
I always thought he meant the result. And I'm thinking, yeah, we beat Leeds, we beat United, but it's not the result, is it? It's the overall performance. That's what he keeps going on about, because he keeps going, I want to give the fans the performance. I'm thinking, yeah, we just beat United 3-1, man. Chill, man. But then it's the all-round package.
He wants to reach a standard, doesn't he? He wants all of our performances to be a standard. You know, we want to be there all the time. Now, sometimes that standard will be comfortably enough to beat lower teams. It might just be good enough to beat the mid-table teams, and then we've got to have a bit of luck to beat the top teams. So that's that sort of, like Luke's always going to rate 7 out of 10. Individual players, what we want to see is the whole team being 7 out of 10 at minimum level. Everybody's 7 out of 10. You know, and then as we progress over the next few seasons, we need to be 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 to start competing in the top 4. So he's deeply frustrated. You can see that, and I've no doubt he'll do everything he can to try and turn this home form around.
Yeah, and we've got a team that are coming up now in tragic form. I mean, I wouldn't say tragic, actually. Well, bad form. They can't buy a win, can they? I mean, we've been 11th all season. It feels like they've been 12th all season as well. Crystal Palace coming to Villa Park, and yeah, they're okay. They're okay. They're 12th, we're 11th. They've drawn 9 games this season. We've won 9. Average goals per match, they're at less than 1. Goals conceded per match, 1.2 for Palace. Head-to-head, another decent head-to-head record. We've got Villa with 7 wins, Palace with 8. Their away record at Villa Park is not great either. They've only won 1 away in the Premier League era. Recent form, bit up and down. We lost 3-1, 1-1, 1-2-1, lost 3-2, won 3-0. So the record's all over the show, recent form. That is their recent form on the right. It does go down. You know, they can't buy a win, really, so they haven't won in a while. But they had a good dogged performance at home against Liverpool.
Yeah, they've had some tough fixtures there, haven't they?
Yeah.
Looking at that.
Yeah. Yeah, the style of play, graphics not great. Same as Bremerton.
Jesus Christ.
It's a bit minimal, isn't it?
Is that style at all?
It's a smudge.
Palace fans, I'm not butchering you. It's a legitimate thing.
If someone forgot to fill that in.
I haven't created that stat.
That is literally awful, isn't it?
Right. This is how they've set up. Their strikers haven't scored a goal since October. Zaha looks like he might be back, might make the bench. So that's their lineup for their last game against Liverpool. And this was their average positions from the game as well. So, 4-2-3-1. Lise is playing really well as well. Eze has dropped to the bench. But as we spoke about Palace in the past, last season, their biggest threat is Anderson. And that sounds mad being a centre-back, but I think Watkins has got a big job in this game, and it's to cut the passing lines in between Anderson, stop Anderson getting on the ball as a ball-playing centre-back. He's a really good ball-playing centre-back. And on this graphic, as you can see, from Guaita into Anderson, everything goes through Anderson to Klein, Decore, Elise, AU. So, they do attack down the right-hand side. So we've got to watch on our left-hand side that's the area that they're going to predominantly attack down. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Again, that's Anderson's sort of stats. Palace's danger creation coming from the right-hand side, heavily down this hand side here through there as well, where they've conceded goals. Bit of a mixture all over the pitch as well. Shot map from this season as well. And that's just Elise and Zaha stats. So, what we saying, Justin? How are you feeling?
Interesting looking at all them, to be honest. They are what I would class as a a solid Premier League team. They've got a decent back line. They don't concede tons of goals. They've got a decent couple of holding players. And then where they try and be to be sort of good is in those sort of attacking areas, isn't they, where they've got 3 players in behind the forward. They are struggling for a forward that can score goals for them. But it's really those 3 players in behind that are either hit or miss for them, isn't it? They're the ones that decide whether they're going to be good, whichever game, whichever week they're playing.
That graphic, man. It's still.
I know. I just can't. I'm literally in shock about that. I've never seen one so weak in all my life. Tragic, yeah.
You ain't seen ours yet, to be fair.
Yeah, don't put ours up for God's
Hold
sake.
on. You talk. I need to find out. Just in case.
Find out. Let's hope it's not as bad after it's just absolutely slaughtering Palaces. Elise, Ayew, Schlupp, Mateta, obviously Zaha, Ease. These are. They're all good players, aren't they? And on their day, they're match winners. Any one of them is a match winner.
Yeah.
They're just, for whatever reason, they can't. Consistency, isn't it? What do we go on about with us all of the time? I would imagine Palace podcasts and fans sit every single week in the pub and after the game, before the game, go, if only all these players were consistent, if only they could do it week in, week out. If we get them on the wrong day and Zaha and Elise and Eze and these players turn up and have a blinder, then they beat you, don't they? But they just don't do it regularly enough. So, based on the law of averages and how they play and their season up to now and their away form, it all points to a really, really good opportunity for us to take 3 points at home. We've got to play well. We've got to be good, and we've got to make sure I think we've got to be really, really positive. That's what I want to see Saturday. I want to see go at them from the first whistle. I want to see our players that are in form all play. I know we'll do a predicted lineup, but I want to see Deer back in. I want to see McGinn's playing well. Watkins is on fire. Let's use these players that are playing well and really go for them. And once we get a goal, go for the second, go for the third, and put this home form to bed on Saturday, and then enjoy the rest of the season.
This is that's our style of play. So pretty mixed, pretty solid.
Yes. All round, isn't it?
Yeah. I was thinking about Palace today. I haven't really watched a lot of them. I haven't really been inspired to watch them either. I thought last season they did very well. There was exciting last season. Colin Gallagher, Eze, Elise.
They've missed him, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they have. But I thought to myself, have they struggled this season? And I thought, they probably overachieved last season. And this is, I think, naturally, like this 12th position is sort of where they are at. Because last season, I did think they overachieved. I think on the preview show last season, I predicted them to go down because, like, Hodgson has left, who steadied the ship so well, kept them in the Premier League, but they had an aging squad. They had the Bentekis, they had the Townsends. And I thought, you bring in Eze in, you bring in Elise in from the Premier League. How's it going to work? Vieira was coming in as well, but they've done really well, and they have continued it on this season. Like I'm sure they wish they were higher up, but I think this season, 12th where they're at, they're not. They're keeping their head above the relegation battle that's going on between them. They're doing enough to keep out of them. So I know that they're on a 8-game winless streak and they're coming to Villa Park, but they're also hard to beat. They've got a lot of draws. They've only lost 9 games all season. They haven't really.
Their away form's 14th.
Yeah. So where they're at really, isn't it?
And their home forms.
Yeah. And no one's really turned them over. I think Spurs done them 4-0. But apart from that, they've pretty much been in every game. You've mentioned Anderson and the other centre half. They've got a good pairing. Midfield, they're battlers, and then like Justin said, they've got pace and trickery on the wings. Zaha's always a handful. So
they lack a striker. Top goal scorer Zaha. He was in a purple patch at the start of the season, wasn't he? He's got 6. Eze 4, who's dropped out the side. Edward 3. Elise. Mateta.
Ayew, what's Ayew got? 1.
Yeah, it's poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
They just seem to have run out of steam, don't they? Looking at their results all season, started well, had a bit of a sort of up and down period, then started picking wins up again, and then really after this year basically, isn't it? Looking at this year, have they not won a game this year? By the look at that, first to the fourth, yeah.
Yeah,
They haven't
winners
won a
tonight.
game this year.
Yeah.
So including the FA Cup, that's 9 games without a win because they lost to Southampton, didn't they, in the FA Cup? So since the turn of the year, they've just been in not like you say, not quite free fall because they've managed to stay in a few games. They're obviously difficult. They're difficult to beat, although that sounds daft saying that they haven't won in 9, but like you say, they've drawn a lot of them. They've lost 4. They lost 4 and drew 5 out of those 9. And they have had a few tough fixtures, but I think they're there for the taking on Saturday.
I'll tell you what, though, we do 0-1 after last season, rocking up at Villa Park on our 40th European celebration day and claiming a draw. You know, we should have smashed them that day. Put a dampener on my day that I did at the end of it after what was such a fantastic build-up. So let's get a bit of redemption on Saturday.
yeah, I think we drew a big performance. We'll go into more detail on the predicted lineup on how we beat them, etc. So if we are having a look at Villa's next 4 games, we've got Palace, West Ham away, Bournemouth at home, Chelsea away. That looks like an easy 3-pointers. So what are we saying, Justin, out of those 4? There's a big opportunity here, I think, if you're looking at these fixtures, because you get some fans that are like looking at the Arsenal and the Man Cities, and you'll completely write those off. So what are we saying about these 4? I think these are quite important.
Or you'll get a fan like Justin who's going to say 12 points.
Well, we've been having this debate today on the group chat, haven't we? We've all done our little predicted end of the season run-ins, and
the Champions League, baby.
Surprise. Although I've been playing down getting into Europe for the last month or so, I have predicted us to have a really good end of the season. I just feel like we're going to have a good end of the season, and I think the next 3 games, especially after coming off the back of that Everton win, which hopefully will reignite us again and give us that little bit of belief going into a run of games which aren't Arsenal or Man City. I do think we can have a good run, and I think it's looking at the next 3. You got Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth, all teams. Palace in and around us, but we're at home, and then West Ham, Bournemouth are down the bottom, battling it out. We play West Ham at a good time as well, I think, in the middle of their 2 games in the Europa League. Chelsea are absolutely awful this season. We owe Leicester 1. So that there's real opportunities over the next 3 or 4 games. And if we can get 3 really positive results in the next 3, which I think we're more than capable of doing, especially with our away form being so good, and there's a good ample opportunity there with Palace and Bournemouth at home to turn our home form around, then I think we can have a really good end to the season. There's no reason why not, honestly. We've got to be positive. We're not going down. Europe is it? I don't know. We'll know in the month's time whether Europe's even going to be in a conversation or not. If we get as positive results as I think we're capable of over the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, then it could be on the cards. We would have to, I think, end the season with an absolute flyer. But, who knows? But, yeah, I'm confident the next 3 games have come at a good time for us coming off the back of that Everton win.
I think we've got to just, although we lost those 3 games in a row, I'm sure we're still in and around 6th since Emery came in, points tally-wise. So, although
how many games has he been in charge now?
I'm not sure,
What was his first game?
United.
First one was
United at home, wasn't it?
Weren't it?
Yeah, we had 2 before the World Cup, and then whatever.
League games he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 league games so far. So if you look at the league table,
he's only lost 4 then.
So if you look at the last 10, form-wise, last 10 games, we are 10th. So including the Man United game, which would have been the 11th, 19 points from 11 games, which is, almost 2 points a game, isn't it? Not far off.
Well, two points a game, and you'll be bang up there, won't you?
So form would suggest, even coming off the back of 3 losses, that we could make a bit of a push. It all depends on what everybody does above us. Obviously, I'd seen Newcastle dropping, like I did predict that. I don't think they'll finish in the top 4. Brighton, Brentford, and Fulham. I think are they going to finish the season as high as well as they've started it? I don't think so. The 2 real weird ones are Liverpool and Chelsea, aren't they? Who are 7th and 10th. More than capable of putting runs together, but they just don't, Chelsea especially don't show any signs whatsoever of coming to life, do they? So it'd be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. We've got nothing to lose, have we? We've got everything to go play for. We've got players that are playing well. Let's just enjoy the end of the season.
Game at a time. Game at a time. Enjoy them. Enjoy the build-ups. Enjoy the games. And see where we end up.
Enjoy the podcasts.
Enjoy the podcast, yeah. Get subscribing, get liking, get commenting, get watching that Neil Cutler episode.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So I think we'll do our score predictions then. I think you know what's coming. Home form, massively going to improve. We're going to beat Palace 3-1. Ryan?
I'm also going for a big performance, but I think it will just be a 1-0. But I think the performance is going to be very, very good. Watkins to back again, 6 out of 6, yes. I think.
So the record is 8, isn't it? Is the record 8?
No, Vardy got 11.
Jamie Vardy got, I think Vardy got.
I think the Villa record, isn't that?
The Villa one. No, there was one. I'm sure that was in the 40s that did about 12. 12 and 11 or something like that.
We could start singing Jamie Vardy, he's coming for you.
Yeah, Vardy's, I think, got the Premier League record, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. Was it Van Nistelrooy who took it off? He got it on the season they won the league, didn't he?
Yeah. Right, Justin, what are you going for?
Vardy consecutive goals, hold on. 13 goals in 11 consecutive games, so he's got a bit to go. But I do also predict an Ollie Watkins continuation of his goal scoring run. I'm going for a surprising 2-0. I'm not going to be too mad. I just think a nice comfortable goal early, control the game, a bit similar to the Everton game. Second half, come out, play really well, get a second, shut up shop. 3 points in the bag. Move on.
Thank you very much.
Love it. Right. If you've got this far, make sure you watch the Cutler episode, subscribe to my second channel, and enjoy the content.
It's also my son's 4th birthday on Saturday for the game, so guaranteed win there. When he was born, we went on that 10-game winning run, so that was a great introduction to life as a Villa fan, that was.
If we go on another 10-game winning run, I'm booking Azerbaijan away.
Up the Ralph, mate. Up the Ralph.
Up the Ralph. Happy birthday, Ralph.
Happy birthday. Up the Villa. Speak to you soon.